everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Tatyana, a Kingdom Creative. This week I've been meditating on the power of silence. So I'm sure this is something we can all relate to and happens oftentimes in our lives where we can just feel like the heavens or the throne room may seem to be silent. I don't know about you, but being prophetic and being a seer in the spirit realm, I think I can take it for granted, and it's easy to take for granted how the Lord speaks to us and how frequently we can hear from the Lord and hear the Spirit moving in our lives. And then there can be times where it appears that He may have gone silent, and I'm learning that I'm going through a season and a process where I'm trying to really embrace all stages of the journey that I'm on, the uncomfortable parts, the good parts, the high places as well as the low places, and just learning to recognize the purpose and the value of each stage of the journey. And so this week I've been meditating on the power of silence, and I thought of the analogy this morning. You know, when you're, for me, I find it's a really good test of a relationship or a friendship when you can be comfortable in the silence with each other. Say, like when you can be in a car ride with someone, or having dinner or a coffee, or going for a walk. And sometimes you can, if you feel slightly uncomfortable with the other person, or you're still getting to know each other and finding the rhythm in your relationship and your friendship, you can sometimes feel like you have to fill the spaces. Like, silence can be uncomfortable. But I find that, a good test of comfort and trust and strength of relationship can be told by how you deal with the silences and those spaces in between hearing and speaking. So I just wanted to share 3 or 4 keys that I've discovered about the power of silence and how to embrace it and see it as a positive in our life, and how to really tap into it and engage with it as a way to build and develop character and strength in our relationships. First and foremost in our relationship with God, but also in relationship with others as well. I find these keys probably apply just the same. So as I said before, silence can act or serve as a test. A good check-in point for you to see where your relationship is at. And the first key that I wanted to share of how silence serves to test that relationship or your strength or character is the test of your heart. So that silence and that space between speaking, or that need to be heard or reassured, it serves to reveal the depth or the strength of your trust. Can you trust that you are safe with the other person? Can you trust that they have your best interests at heart? Can you trust that they're not on the other side of the situation judging you, or maybe thinking poorly of you, feeding your insecurities? Silence can serve to reveal the strength of your relationship and how safe your heart feels in the presence of the other person, whether they're speaking or whether they're silent, whether they're present or whether they're absent. So that's the first key, is the state of your heart and that level of trust that you have. And trust takes time. As like I said, finding the rhythm of a relationship and a friendship, it takes time and encounters and give and take, and I guess at the root and at the source of any good relationship, it really comes back to confidence in who you are, knowing who you are, and being able to feel secure and be loved and love yourself, and then able to reflect and share the same onto another person. The second key, which hits a little bit deeper, a little bit harder to hear perhaps, the second test that the silence can bring is a test of your fortitude. So fortitude is another word for strength, courage, bravery, just ability to stand strong. So silence can test your fortitude, and how it does this, I believe, is when there's a silence, it involves like a surrendering of yourself and a letting go of control. I think sometimes when we feel the need to keep speaking or to fill the space or to be doing and active to try and build and hold firm or hold together a relationship or a situation, there can be sometimes be an element there, a fear of losing control or not being in control. And so yeah, the test of silence can be yeah, whether you have the fortitude to not be in control in the relationship, just to, and this is all, yeah, obviously you need to be wise and safe and set good boundaries around your life with your relationships and pursue relationships that do feed you and nourish you. Um, but yeah, when you get to that level of intimacy and trust with someone where you can endure the silence, I think that that shows, yeah, that you have the fortitude within you to feel safe with them and to feel like it's okay if you're not in control, you're not leading every conversation or every direction. And I really think these keys and these thoughts apply simultaneously, as I said, yeah, to our spiritual journey, to our relationship with God, and also to our relationships with others as well. So that's the second key, is fortitude. Key number 3 really ties into fortitude, the second key. Key number 3 is your belief. So are your beliefs able to stand firm even in the silence, even when they're not being reassured, where they're not being spoken into being? Do you have that strong sense of belief, that firm belief deep within your heart that this relationship, it is safe, it is solid, it doesn't constantly need to be reassured or comforted verbally or physically or emotionally? Yeah, do you have a firm foundation of belief that this person, God or man, do you have the belief that you are secure and that you can stand firm in the relationship, that you can stand firm in the silence and embrace it and enjoy it, and not be shaken by the silence, by the absence of words or direction or assurance or instruction? Can you stand firm on what you've already built in that relationship, what you've already heard spoken? Can you stand firm and believe that what has been spoken is something that you can put your trust in? This really applies to the promises of God, whether through prophecy, through the reading of His Word, or through that Rhema word that He's given you personally. Can your belief stand firm upon those promises and those former conversations when the silence comes? It's really great practice, actually, when you do have those moments where you feel like the heavens are silent or you're not hearing back from about certain things or situations that you're wanting to hear from the Lord or from others on. It's a really good time to go back and think over again, to consider, to meditate the former promises, the former instructions, the former words of wisdom and counsel that you've been given, and really use that time of silence. It's another form of waiting, I guess, but learning to engage with that moment and to make it fruitful by feeding on promises and things that have been spoken in the past, just to reaffirm your faith and to build up your belief again. And key number 4, the last key that I'll share today, is resolve. So your determination, your commitment, your resolve to stand firm, to endure the silence just as much as you embrace the noise and the conversations. It takes resolve. And I'm reminded of a great verse that I come back to often that says, "Therefore I have set my face like flint or like stone. I shall not be moved." So there's a choice involved. It takes a decision on your part. It takes a willingness to stand firm, to endure the wait or the silence until the next instruction or the next word or the next promise comes forth. And on that note, I had a couple of verses that I wanted to share out of the Word of God. The first one is Galatians 6:9. Someone shared this with me earlier this week, actually, and so I've been clinging to it this week and finding real hope and comfort in it. It says, "Let him who is taught the word, share in all good things with him who teaches. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. So if you sow into your relationships, and especially your relationship with God, if you sow into that through faith and worship and spending time in his presence, learning to trust him, learning to know who his character is. And these are all keys actually that apply to relationships in our daily life as well, our natural relationships with friends and family and loved ones. If you sow into them, what you sow into them is what you will reap. For he who sows to his flesh will of the flesh reap corruption, but he who sows to the Spirit will of the Spirit reap everlasting life. And here's the key verse, Galatians 6:9. And let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season, at the right time, at the appointed time, we shall reap if we do not lose heart. So I love that. It's a promise of God that we can cling to, if we keep going, if we keep sowing into our relationships, then in due season, they will come forth with fruitfulness. Another conversation I had earlier this week with a wonderful prophetic friend of mine, and she just pointed out, which we all know really, but it was a good reminder to me, especially like when you're waiting for a dream, especially to be born, or a promise or a vision from the Lord to be born and to come forth. It's often can be related to having a physical pregnancy, and you have the 9-month stage where you're pregnant and the babe is growing within your womb, but it's like there comes a time where the baby has to come forth and manifest in the natural realm. And it's the same with our dreams and promises from God. There comes a point in time, a due season, an appointed time where it has to come forth. There's another great verse in the Bible, I think it's in Isaiah somewhere, where it says, shall I bring to the time of birth and not cause delivery? Shall I who open the womb not bring forth the child? And it's just one of those laws of God, one of those principles that he built into the foundations of the earth and into life itself, that where a seed is planted, in due time, if it's nurtured and grows to full term within its womb, within the ground that it's grown in, then it will come a time where it sprouts forth and produces fruit. So I just wanted to share that with you as a word of encouragement. It's a word of encouragement to myself as well in this stage of the process where I'm at. Several of you responded to my earlier video about waiting and how you were in a similar season as well. So I wanted to keep sharing these short words of encouragement. Just a reminder that we're not on this journey alone. We're in this together. So I just wanted to bless you with that. And one more verse I wanted to declare over you this week, actually. It's a favorite passage of mine, Isaiah 61. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to preach good tidings to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives and the opening of the prison to those who are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn, to console those who mourn in Zion, to give them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. And this verse especially was highlighted to me, that they may be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he may be glorified. So it's that promise that what has been planted in the ground will burst forth and become righteous trees of righteousness. Another translation I've read talks about oaks. Instead of trees, it says oaks of righteousness. And so the oak tree grows right from a little acorn into this solid, mighty, enduring oak tree, which they have I think it's a couple of hundred years lifespan. So it's like our small little seeds of planting can produce in due time, if we do not lose heart, if we do not grow weary, can produce these solid trees of righteousness that even often outlive our own lives. So it's good to think about that in regards to our relationships as well, especially our relationship with God, but also our relationships with others. Think about where they are leading into the future. So what legacy are they building? What fruit are they going to bring forth that could then possibly go forward to feed the generations that follow you? So the relationships we have now, yeah, will affect the next generation. So it's just another key, yeah, good reminder to be pursuing godly, fruitful, life-giving relationships, relationships that encourage and challenge where it's needed, but yeah, help you to grow. So bless you. That's all I have to share for today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time. I'll put the links down below for some of my previous videos if you're interested. Remember to share this video with others. Hit subscribe, and then you'll be notified as I post new videos up each week. Hopefully, that's my goal at the moment. Usually on a Friday. And be sure to like this video as well. Thanks so much. Bless you.